Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for this very inspiring conversation. So happy to be back on stage. The next session will be in French, so please be ready for your headsets. And ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, we are extremely honored at FII 8th edition to welcome an African leader who is now leading one of the most important countries on the continent. And this man was elected recently at 44 years old. He is the youngest democratically elected president in Africa. He is a great leader who graduated from École Nationale d'Administration. He has a financial background. He is the son of farmers. He knows what agriculture means, and we spoke a lot about agriculture. He's also a man who practiced martial art, so he's a fighter, and you will see that. He knows what he wants. And of course, he's symbolizing what we call the new generation of leaders who are definitely committed to modernize his country and the continent. Probably his country becoming the gateway to Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to His Excellency, Mr. Bassirou Diomaye Diakhar Faye, the President of the Republic of Senegal. Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, merci d'abord de nous faire...
Mr. President, thank you for joining us at your first visit to Riyadh.
Partager avec notre audience, qui sont pour beaucoup des investisseurs.
I am honored to be joined by you, and I want to ask you, how is the African continent? How is your country, Senegal? And a few days ago, or a few weeks after your after becoming president, you launched a number of promising projects. Maybe you sort of set the roadmap for your country, something similar to the vision of the Kingdom 2030, and you have your own vision 2050. Maybe you can share with us the most important priorities as to achieve this sustainable development that we relentlessly seek in Africa, and what are the most important elements of your Vision 2050. Thank you for this great opportunity and for your invitation. And this is an opportunity for my country, Senegal, to meet businessmen and investors, and also to share with the people of Senegal the Vision 2050 that is driving the strength from four main elements. 7 months ago, I was elected, and I thought to abstain from thinking in emergency mode and to think of good plans and remain committed to find solutions to our current situation in Senegal. And we've noticed in this regard that Senegal, as is the case with many African countries, we have an abundance of mineral resources. Great opportunities, and Vision 2050, and to use those raw materials and industrialize these materials in our country to achieve a balance in our trade equilibrium, and we can establish good industries that will help us transform our raw materials or natural resources into fruitful products or good products, and we are also faced with environmental challenges. So we thought we started thinking about green energy as to enable us to create a resilient economy. But yet again, when we talk about economy, we do understand that these industries requires a proper framework to attract investments. So we took initiative to open new sectors, to attract investments and to provide the best ecosystem and allow investors the opportunities to come to our land and to invest as needed. And we are embarking on a serious effort. So we need to double on economical zones and to provide a good and proper investment ecosystem. Because in the industrial field, we require high expertise and high skilled laborers. Of course, working closely with the youth through different programs. Thus, the industrial training became a part of the regular educational system. And we think of the four elements. You can see the logic behind it to attain this transformation in all the sectors mentioned. Mr. President, can you remind us of some of the statistics with regard to your demography, the youth? Senegal is a nation of youth. 18 million live in Senegal. Of the 18 million, half of which, or 9 million, are between the ages 18 to 22. So 70% of our population is of youth below 35. Yes, a very young nation, and up to the year 250, that number will become 38, and 38 million. Again, emphasizing on the point that Africa is the future. 40 million living in 2.5 square kilometers. There will be this youth generation will be open to technology, and will have leaders of a high level of awareness, because at the end we need to build capacity. We need to work with the youth and raise the bar high with regard to the challenges of energy, and we can provide our nation with all its needs. And I believe that's what we will provide a good investment ecosystem. We are an African nation, of course, and so we want to try to compare the two. When you invest in a country such as Senegal, open to the ocean and enjoys a great level of political stability, you invest in a market in a 2.5 billion market until we reach 250. In this regard, the framework of the Vision 2050, can you tell us how can you achieve economical diversification and the vital sectors that will mostly attract investors in Senegal? You can see all the elements are linked. When we talk about economical expansion, we talked about the youth, we are talking about high qualifications and high communication skills, and harnessing the advanced technology, utilizing the social media platforms. I wanted to acquire new technologies in the light of the new challenges. So the global framework in which we find the youth moving towards using more and more technology, and we do have champions in Senegal, champions of technology, African champions of technology, and some of them moved to Senegal and shared with us some of the success story. The way it started in Senegal didn't start in the capital, but it started actually in the suburbs of Senegal. Yes, many of our youth were thinking of leaving the villages behind and moving to the city, but that is compatible with the aspirations, and those champions will become role models in their societies. And as we said, we should always take in that energy and invest in the youth energies to create digital jobs. And we should also not forget agriculture. 2.5 million mouths had to be fed every day, so we need to continue investing in agriculture to ensure that we can achieve the food security and not to solely rely on industries. We will be producers, not consumers. In addition to agriculture and technology, Senegal is also investing to become a great energy hub. And we've started, initiated some programs that received great success. Solar power projects that allowed us to mitigate the cost of use of energy, but the challenges remain immense. For example, 1 kilowatt will cost 110 francs, and we want to lower that cost by 70%. And as far as the production or the manufacturing, we started a project that will produce 4 million megawatts of energy, working closely with our partners, whether on electrical power, powered by dams, but from Senegal and Gambia rivers. And we're also exploring all the means and all the channels that will enable us to find cleaner means of energy use. And recently we've discovered huge amounts of gas in Senegal, or natural gas in Senegal, and we are trying to find partners to help us explore those reservoirs, and also to mitigate the cost of use of energy. We will continue these efforts. So there are many activities. What could be done in the energy sector, but also continue to focus on the agricultural sector. Mr. President, how can the investors be part of these diversified projects, taking into consideration the human capital and also the equality in the workplace? What are your strategy to support and to enhance to improve the human capital? We are supportive of many initiatives to reach the majority of the youth in our country, and the topic of equality, I can tell you that our women wake up every day at 5 in the morning for fishing, and then heading into the markets to fulfill their daily family needs. We all dream, and women dream as well, and the youth want to support their families. And women in Senegal work day and night to support their family and to achieve success in their projects. And in Senegal, we work with the national institution, and we are working with the national institutions.
Et à travers cette délégation, nous finançons des projets de jeunes qui sont portés par des jeunes et par des femmes.
And also working on different projects of youth employment. But some of our major institutions and companies are led by women. So we will continue to think of technology, think of agriculture, and also for the youth and women to become playing their integral role in our economy. So now we are seeing women in leadership positions in Senegal, and they help employ other women in different agriculture projects.
Quand ils arrivent au Sénégal, ont toujours forcément
Working with new clients and renewing their client base. So when we think of funding, we always think of the youth and the women who are responsible to receive that type of funding. You'll be hosting the Youth Olympics. Maybe in the year 2026, Senegal will be the global capital of Olympics. And we're keen that Senegal will become a destination for all the youth interested in sport. We are the country of rugby and other sports. And the Olympic Committee did visit us, and they had a good impression with regards to the high level of commitment of Senegal to host the Olympics. And when we held another meeting with the participation of the youth, and the organizing committee launched a contest, a national contest in the country recently. Now we are preparing our players, and we continue to develop our infrastructure to prepare for hosting this great event, as well as the transportation and mobility sector, by providing sufficient means of transportation to and from airports and main events facilities, as we continue to build and develop residential units, because we'll be receiving 7,500 sports person, and that help us to work relentlessly to prepare appropriately for this occasion.
qui va venir.
Of course, we will achieve success and will reach our aspirations.
Plaisir d'être actif dans les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse.
It's a turning point indeed. I attended the youth contest in Argentina, and I believe that Senegal will have its opportunity and will celebrate this moment. We return to the topic of economic diversification and the stability that you enjoy in Senegal.
Aujourd'hui de la paix, de la sécurité.
Can you face? I'm sorry. How can you face all the challenges, ensuring peace and political stability, to create a safe environment for investment? Can one might ask themselves, can we still invest in Africa despite all the conflicts taking place in the continent? Not thinking of only one country, we're talking about 54 countries. So what is your analysis, if you may, for the geopolitical situation in the continent, and how can we comfort the investors and reassure them with regards to the new leadership presented by yourself? When we think of the history of changes and of leadership in Africa, we must negate such false perspectives, and and when we talk about Senegal, we should think of the conflict since the 60s, and we did not. There weren't any attempts to change the regime since the 60s, so we did not use it or follow it, a democratic methodology. The elected 90% of the nominees congratulated me at the moment of winning. And so I would say from that perspective that Senegal is not a country of hostility. It's a stable country. It's an open country to the world. And we can call it the land of hospitality. Of course, we do have problems and issues, but we are committed to peace. And since I was elected, I started visits to other countries, countries struggling with terrorism and other issues. Build good relationships with these countries to ensure that we can reach the attained integration. We also established a ministry called the Ministry of Integration. As to we continue to facilitate the discussion between the coastal countries and city countries. Signed Mr. Abdullah Didi as an ambassador and a mediator, working closely with the government to improve the relationship with our African counterparts. As far as the political stability, I remain committed to transform Senegal into a trustworthy partner. I was faced with a challenge that the great nation of Senegal that were able to come to the elections and elect their new president to ensure peace and stability in their country, to preserve the rights of this nation. The people of Senegal have the right to live in peace and security, and I'm glad that I'm heading this administration. And the people of Senegal also to convey their knowledge and expertise to the other countries, and maybe they can follow in our footsteps to achieve political stability and peace. What is the message that you want to convey to all our friends who joined us from all over the world and who are the ones who are looking for new opportunities? And the Royal Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman started this conference 8 years ago, and he's quite ambitious to understand more about the aspirations of other leaders. So what is the message that you would like to convey? Of course, I would like to thank the organizers of this summit, headed by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And of course, I also congratulate the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and also congratulate you on establishing this platform and starting this effort to encourage the youth. The investors, please look at Africa with have a new look at Africa, another new look at Africa. Africa now is promised with the young generations trying to meet or combat all the challenges and to achieve success by improving the quality of life for the nations striving for a better life, and nations trust their leaders. The African continent is awakening once again, and what our aspirations and what our objectives. So every day we are witnessing democratization in the continent, building hospitality, thinking of developing our infrastructure, developing the youth, and also enhancing the energy sector. Is an advancing nation, of youth, and continue to develop. And we do have aspirations, we have needs, qualitative needs. So please come join us and invest in Africa, and join us or enter with us into a new framework of partnership. Thank you, Mr. President, for your time. And I believe that we had the privilege to talk to you during this session. Please join me in saluting this young leader of Republic of Senegal.